So we are on the line that begins ahavah veyirah. And yesterday we finally made, Baruch Hashem, I feel a tremendous realization, the emphasis of es ha'inyan ha'eliki. Shemasik es ha'inyan ha'eliki. And in our day and age, it's extremely important to identify and to distinguish between the inyan ha'eliki and the godly superpower.
And the godly superpower?
Yeah. When we say, for example, we say, remember the Kriyas Yamsuf. Remember the Kriyas Yamsuf. He's not talking in terms of the wonders of Kriyas Yamsuf. You took us across and you drowned the Egyptians. What's the point? There is a godly phenomenon there. A godly phenomenon. That is a real recognition. Standing and be wondering the power, you're a separate entity. In today's world, it's not necessarily true because people are worshipping these athletes who are making all kinds of athletic accomplishments. And this kind of what is it called, fanning and carrying the picture and all that. This is absolute idiocy, absolute stupidity. Hero worship. We do not engage in hero worship even regarding neighborship.
How are you using the term godly phenomenon?
Yesterday, that's what I explained yesterday. That the Indian, for example, as I mentioned out here, Toila Eretz Ablima. He's mentioned lately a lot of times. Toila Eretz Ablima, the point that we're trying to make is not that the Rebbe is able to hold the earth. That this is, but rather that this is the godly participation in the creation. Where does Hashem, so to speak, suspend the earth? What is He used to suspend the earth?
His will.
Excuse me?
His will. His will.
He wants
His will, and what does that mean? That this is not a show of power. This is a show of relation, a show of meaning. This is why He created the world. He created the world. He created the real world, where the earth has its place, and everything has its place. The Gemara says, the Pasuk says, Shemesh Yodam Evoyei. Shemesh Yodam Evoyei. The sun knows its root, where it goes and where it comes from. The Gemara says, Shemesh Yodam Evoyei, V'yoreich Lo Yodam Evoyei. The Levona does not know its root. The Gemara says, Moshe doesn't know its root, because the pathway of the Levana is very convoluted. It goes in a certain direction, it also goes in a different direction. The sun has its path. This Indian is part of the Berchinas of Summer In other words, this is how the world should be.
How the world what?
Should be.
Should be.
It is not merely it happens to be. This is the godly plan. This is what represents a certain principle in the world that Hashem created. Are we getting the point, or we're not getting the point? We're semi-getting the point.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm not getting the point.
You're not getting it.
I'm not getting
I know.
So obvious.
Huh?
It's so obvious.
Yeah, you're ready. Also, Lo Yodem Uvaya, you have all kinds of different accesses over there. I'll even put on points. Okay, gentlemen, let's go to it for it. If you can do me a favor, give me a cup of hot water, I'll appreciate it.
For an answer.
Huh?
For an answer, I'll give you a couple of hours. For an explanation.
Oh, bargain. Oh, you're bargaining now.
Well,
Oh, make it.
Oh, blackmail.
You want a
Black
full
hat
cup or
man.
no?
Black hat
No,
mail.
No,
This
thank you.
one?
Full cup, you get a full explanation.
What is the Panipshat? Now, the human being is what we call a real creation, a real full-fledged presence. Which means that whatever the human being does represents his full being, not as... What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, somebody forgot something. Represents his full being. I don't know what illustration to give you, but I'll take the illustration that lately spoke about. He said that a dog walks on a path, and he's only aware of this path. He's aware of what he's doing, where he wants to go. The human being does not walk on the path. He walks on the entire reality, the entire earth. And from the earth, he's going on a certain path in order to get to a certain place on the earth. He's always relating to the total reality. That's the human being. And this is true. Why is it true like that? Because he himself has a sense of reality. Excuse me. And I'll step back a step and be able and try to bring out what is this about. We always say that the human reality of the world is what's manifest by his intellect, not what he encounters by his touch, by his experience. This is why the Rambam says, what gives the human being a sense of reality? There's a reality prior to the world. And this is where everything starts. From this Motzerishin. And everything that he sees is a representation, is a draw from the Motzerishin. And this is how he relates to it. So far, do I have you with me? Okay, please respond. And I'll step back a step and point out where is that rooted? How does he know there was Motzerishin? As we explained many times, he does not know Motzerishin by proof, by encounter. Since there's a world, there has to be somebody made it. That's a much later step. The Motzerishin he knows before his Chochmah even begins to develop. Amud HaChochmos. like we said many times, I'll give you a very simple illustration. I hope you're focusing on this. A human being, by nature, and this by his neshama nature, he cannot be an uncalled, uninvited guest. Even though he's provided everything that he needs, everything that is available. Nobody is resenting his presence. If he's an uninvited guest, he is out of place. Because it doesn't sense to really be there. He has to be an invited guest. Not only invited guest, but a welcome guest. When you come to a chasana, for example, you had an invitation and responded to the invitation. When the host comes over and says, L'chaim, thank you for coming, that puts you in place. I'll give you a sense, yeah, it's real. And this is not just a nicety. This is the meaning, this is the human reality. Because in his soul, in his neshama, the neshama is very real. The neshama is not real just because, like the goof, because I feel something, because it hurts me, because it's pleasant, therefore I am there. That's not the neshama. The neshama is not become aware of itself as a result of experience, of experiential feedback. On the contrary, the neshama is aware of motzui rishain mamtikolim, so that which preceded my existence. That's neshama.
So when he belongs at the chasana, that's a reflection down here of the real.
Of the real thing that he was invited before this even was conceptualized.
That's what we're calling the godly phenomenon.
This is a godly phenomenon. It's not just an action. It's not just a reaction. It's a reality. There is something preceding this particular action, particular situation, something real. This is the godly phenomenon. Even in our own lives. In our life, you don't call it godly phenomenon, you're talking human phenomenon. Because the human being, in this minor sense, is a reflection of the godly truth. Therefore, so now that we have this, therefore, what we were saying, that the earth is suspended in mid-space, ablimo, on nothingness. This principle that is suspended on nothingness is not merely to contrast it with the table being held up by the floor. And here God shows his capability. He can hold up the earth in his hand, so to speak, without having any support. That is not the point. The point is that the earth is suspended. It's not even suspended. It's where it belongs. It represents a certain reality. It's there because it has to be there. Because that's part of the creation of the world. The world is not the result of a big bang. The world is a godly, intentional creation. Shemesh Yodam Avei, everything has a particular place. Everything in the world, every less thing, certainly the major creations that are mentioned in the Torah, the Oretz and the Reach and the Shemesh and the human being, they have their place. Yeah.
Are you trying to bring out the contrast, the difference between Torah Eretz Abalima and then how the table stands on the ground and the table stands on the floor and the beams and all.
Well,
Or is
yes.
that not the point?
No, that's the point. But the point is to contrast this concept versus our initial sense of what it means to Yiras Hablima. Instead of the floor supporting it, God is holding it. So I'm pointing out God is not holding it. It doesn't need to be held because it is in the right place.
But isn't that, I mean, I always thought that was synonymous when you say Yiras Hablima. What you're saying is everything in the world seems to need some type of foundation to hold it up. What holds up the world? The Eibishter is the foundation of the world. It doesn't need a support. The Eibishter is its foundation.
So that's a support. This is where we have difficulty to divorce from our worldly logic. Everything needs support, so the earth also needs support.
No, but that's not Yiras Hablima. It's all blimat. You would think it needs a support, but it doesn't because the Eibishter is the foundation of the world.
No.
So
does the earth have a foundation or not?
No, it doesn't need it because it's Tela. The fact that we're saying it's Tela Blima, we're testifying that it doesn't have a foundation.
So, okay, true, but I want that we should clearly emphasize the point. What do we mean by that? I said before, if the Rebbe is holding it up, it's ablima. There is no natural means to explain how it stands. It's a miraculous way that it stands, but it is being held up. If it's being held up, means it falls into the natural scheme of things. Except it's not a natural koyah that holds it.
You're just fitting the Eibishter into the worldly logic.
That's right. The koyah is not that it doesn't fall into the natural scheme of things that everything that stands in a place has to be maintained in that place. We have, so to speak, human illustrations of the point. But there too, since it's human, we have to kind of focus in and understand. We mentioned many times, we say that there is Odom Shein Lebayis Ein Yodom. And then in this house there are furnishings. The furnishings are there. There is a definitive function for the furnishings. It is there. This is needed for this. This is needed for this. This is needed for this. Odom shein bayis shein odom. So it's needed for certain functions also. No, but then it goes into a different category. It's not needed. It is the reality. It's not the need that defines what's a homeless. It's the very reality of the human being. There, the point, say, he needs it is an incorrect way of representation. To the point that we pointed out, that the Empire State Building will not serve the point, the purpose. Functionally, it absolutely can satisfy the point. But this is not a functional element. It's a human reality. This is what we're saying all the time. The human being is an atzmi in the world. That's why he has a name. Has a real presence in the world. The Rebbe gave him. The reason he has a real presence is because he is the chosen of all creatures. The world was created for his sake. The world was created in his image in a sense, to accommodate all human sense of reality. and as a result, and the world was rendered in his hands to form it in his image, to build it. That's a pasuk in the Torah. Umil was haaretz, fill the earth. V'chivshuha. What's v'chivshuha mean? Conquer it. How do you conquer the earth? The human being can conquer the earth. He can transform the earth in his image. When you walk on the street, you know this is humanly created street. The street was there before the human being moved in. But it was transformed into a human image. With a roadway, with a sidewalk, with a drain. This is not part of the earth per se. All that is to accommodate human presence.
Why do we say that? If that's the case, then how can people say that they are in exile?
Okay. So do we understand this principle? Das ist the pshat. This is the human element. And when we understand the creation of the world, we have to reach the point where we sense the godly element. In Yehoeliki. The reality, not just the earth is suspended, the earth is held up, so therefore I don't have to worry about the earth. Therefore I'm going to go and do my thing. That's not the point at all. On the contrary, what this means is, I have to respect, I have to appreciate what I see and relate to it. I see in the earth's presence, in the earth's play, I see the godly presence all the time, and I see the beckoning and the welcoming that he presents to all his creatures. Yes.
How would we understand the godly element that you mentioned earlier in the Kriyas Yamsuf? You know, when you talk
Kriyas Yamsuf, the same thing.
Yeah.
It is not just a show of force.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah.
To reflect. The Kriyas Yamsuf was not a necessary miracle. It was directly planned. The Rebbe said, go back, so that the Mitzrim will think that you're mixed up, that you're lost. And then they will chase you, and they will chase you into the sea, and then the godly element in the world will become obvious. What is the godly element in the world? The Jewish people are not an inadvertent presence.
Mm.
If that's so, why is it that the Jews feel like strangers, and the Goyim feel this is our
Well,
world?
how come you feel as a stranger like you? Why you come once in 10 weeks? Nobody tells you not to come. It's your choice. You're welcome. You'll be retained. We'll save this seat for you. Okay, answer that, and I'll answer your question.
The question.
You're putting yourself in exile. And then you ask, how come I'm in exile?
Torah tells us we're in exile. We don't have to.
Okay, so you're a London, okay? I'll deal with Lomdus later.
Can I come to that too?
Huh?
Can I come to that too?
To what? To deal with Lomdus?
That's enough.
This is all the Bina element. This is the.
Oh, none. Okay, so the truth is that this is sensed also. Innerlich is sensed in Chochmah too. But in Chochmah you're not masik. You're not really experiencing it. In Bina, you begin to experience, oh, this is Inyan Eliki. And in Bina, you can be mispointed. Look at this. And it is his bonus. You can literally bring out the midas, the reaction to this, and the feel of the greatness of it, and the closeness and the ahavah veyirah that comes with it. You're not a bystander. You're not a, by the way supporter. You're the real thing. This is why we say, you wake up in the morning and we say, Moed Anil Funachem Balachai V'kam Shehazarta Bin Yishmos B'chem. What means Shehazarta Bin Yishmos B'chem? You restored the strength. I woke up, thank you very much. So I'm still alive. No, that's not it. There's an interaction there. And I woke up because I was awakened. And I was awakened by Melech Chai V'Kayim. If you're mispointed in that reality, that gets you out of bed. If you have a little gray matter over there. We have 1 more minute. Okay. So, are we getting the point?
No. Not clear. Well, okay, the point. The point. You get the.
I'm afraid that we study Munim Chitzonim, and we cannot perceive a sense of reality. We can only perceive how things are being supported. We have to understand this, but this is a very superficial view of the reality of what's going on. Like I always point out, this little boy saw the fire alarm pull, and he pulled it. Why? Because he says, pull me. Perfectly logical. But he's missing the whole human point of this. The alarm is not meant to be pulled, it's meant to save people from a fire disaster. If there's no fire disaster, it's not meant to be pulled. Okay. This is called intellect. Like we always say, things are there because they should be there. They belong there by virtue of a superior per point and superior reality. The human reality in the world is infinitely superior to the physical reality. Infinitely. As I said before, you look at the street. The street is a piece of earth. It was a dirt. It was a brush. It was totally something that cannot be used. All of a sudden, it's a completely different thing. What is it? It's the human element that changed it. And that first begins to show what the earth is all about. All right, gentlemen, this is it for this morning.